Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. Brought to you by Blue Sky Business Consulting. We discuss 5 questions in about 15 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. I'm very excited because we have Angela Lewis in the house with us today, and she is the founder of the Lewis Consulting Group, which is noteworthy in and of itself. However, she's also a former basketball player and a sports enthusiast overall. So, of course, I also being a sports enthusiast, very excited to have this conversation. Angela is from Dallas, Texas, I should also mention. We got to give a shout out to our friends down in Texas. But Angela, thank you so much for taking time to be on the podcast. And what would you like the audience to know about all these fun things that you're doing these days?
Shawn, thank you so much for inviting me. I'd like everyone to know that I absolutely love sport, but more importantly, I love the lessons that sport teach us about life and about business. So Lewis Consulting Group is a professional development firm. So I do presentations around communication, teamwork, leadership to help ensure that teams and individuals don't miss opportunities and can reach their goals. So I've published a number of books with sports themes, of course.
There you go.
My first book, The Game-Changing Assist, 6 Simple Ways to Choose Success. Post Moves, The Female Athlete's Guide to Dominate Life After College. And the upcoming book, A Ball and a Chance, a children's book.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
that's a little pivot for you to go to the children's books.
It is. It's such a pivot. I was asked to speak to a group of kids, and the goal of the event was to help kids learn about literacy and develop a love for reading, but I hadn't published or written any children's books. So that prompted me to go on this journey to write a children's book. So all of the lessons from the children's book, they're all about what sport teaches us about life, which is the same thing that I do in presentations.
Oh, I love it. That is great. I've published my own book, and I've got another 2 or 3 in the works. But one of the ideas that I've had is exactly what you just described, writing something for children. But that's way down the road, and maybe it'll be sooner down the road. I don't know. We'll find out. But you never know. You never know. Oh, that's great. Great stuff that you're doing there. I can't wait to hear and kind of engage in our discussion here. So let's go ahead and get started. Question number 1. How can leaders kind of foster and create a psychologically safe environment?
The way that leaders can create a psychological safe environment, for me, it always starts with basketball and sport, right? You had leaders, coaches who would ask, how are you feeling today? What do you think about that? Asking questions that show that you genuinely care about how someone's feeling, making sure that they are open and that you've created a culture where they can ask you questions, not necessarily question authority, but they have to be able to disagree. If you're an environment on a team and you're afraid to question what's happening, or if you're afraid to ask for clarification, then you're missing the opportunity for growth. And so 2 big ways that you can create psychological safety is 1, actually caring about people by asking questions about who they are beyond the work. And then 2, creating a culture where you have an open door where they can ask you questions about decision-making or about systems and processes.
Oh, I love that. Great tips. And it's so important. I love how you said that, because we do need to create environments where people can disagree or ask to clarify, whatever it is. But you're absolutely right. That's how we build strong teams together, to allow other people to offer maybe a different point of view. And we can't do that, or they won't do it, if it's not a psychologically safe place to do so. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. All right. Question number 2. And I'm sure that you've had many in your life, but if you could think of one person that has had a really positive impact in your life, what's one word that you would use to describe that person?
Affirming.
Wow.
And this one person is my mom.
Oh, wonderful.
My mom is 84, and she is so affirming, and she always is saying, you can do it, go for it. Like, it is going to be okay. Have faith. I mean, my mom is the best motivational speaker I've ever heard. So she's dynamic. Affirming is the word.
I love that. That is great. That's a good word too, because we're just starting this year where I ask the question, so I'm getting to hear the words, but affirming is not one that we hear a lot. So I love that. That is awesome. Okay. Talk a little bit about your thoughts on creating a growth mindset for yourself and or your team.
This is something I really like this question because growth often is seen as something that comes from the outside. Like the growth mindset, you read these books and you take these courses, and that is important. But growth, the real growth that has come from my life is from making mistakes. And so, one of the ways that leaders can cultivate and foster a growth mindset is to create an environment where it's okay to mess up. Like, miss the shot. You're gonna miss half of them anyway and still be really good. Like in
Yes.
basketball, if you shoot 50% from the field, if you miss 5 out of 10, you are considered an incredible shooter. In baseball, the same. What you bet 30,
Yeah.
30, you're great. So we have to create environments where it's okay to mess up, but we need to bounce back really quickly so that we can learn the lesson and get better.
Oh, I like that. It's a great message about resilience, and I've got I won't change the camera to move to my wall, but maybe after I stop the recording, Angela, I'll show it to you. But I've got a little sign up there. It's Babe Ruth who said, never let the fear of striking out get in your way. And you can't let that happen. So love that. That's great. And that's a great little segue into our next question about how leaders can maintain a balance of emotional wellness for themselves. Any ideas on what leaders can do for emotional health and well-being?
Emotional health and well-being, from my perspective, is bundled in a few things. One is physical well being. It's really hard to be emotionally well if you have physical ailments. So, leaders taking care of themselves is key. The second part is our family or the well being of the people around us. It's really hard if the people around us aren't doing well. So, if someone near us needs a therapist, like how can we help provide resources for the people we work with, but also our families and communities that are so important to us? And then the third piece of emotional wellness, and there's going to be pushback on this, Sean,
Okay.
is actually slowing down. Sometimes we just go and go and go, and we don't slow down to celebrate the wins and the progress we've made because we're always trying to get to the next game or the next goal. And so slowing down gives us an opportunity to really see what's happening, celebrate what's happening, and make wiser, more strategic decisions.
I love that. You will certainly not get pushback from me on that because I completely agree that it is important to slow down a little bit. We do have to kind of take that break and catch our breath, reevaluate. And you mentioned this earlier about allowing ourselves to learn from the mistakes and bouncing back up. But yeah, combine the two. Take a little bit of a break, catch your breath, kind of figure, okay, what do we got here? What do we need to learn from it? And then get back up and then get going again. But yeah, great way to describe that. All right. I'm very excited. I don't know what you're going to talk about when it comes to the baseball question here, but share with us a baseball story.
Sean, this is my favorite and only baseball stories
Fair.
to date. There will be more. There will be
All
more.
right. Good.
In 2006, it's 20 years ago. In 2006, I was in graduate school, and the Cardinals were also making a run at the World Series. And I remember some friends calling, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to go? They're they're gonna win tonight." I'm like, "Okay, just let me get through these tests and I'll be there." So we get downtown St. Louis, and we're at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals win, and everyone is in the streets. There's fireworks going. We walked for miles and miles and maybe had a few libations. Um, in celebration, of course,
Yes, of course.
of the Cardinals winning the World Series. But my best and most favorite baseball memory is a World Series championship by the St. Louis Cardinals. We had a blast. So
Oh,
that's my
love
baseball
that
story.
story. Love the story. I love when we can celebrate the team that we're rooting for. And I'm sure that you appreciate this. There is something about sports that I can't quite put my finger on that just brings people together. It has the tendency sometimes to kind of pull people apart a little bit. So we got to keep working on that. But I'll tell you, there's something about an arena full of people all cheering for a team that it's just awesome. I just absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing that story. And thank you, Angela, so much for taking time to be on the podcast. How can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Angela R. Lewis on LinkedIn, or contact me on my website, angelarlewis.com.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. And thanks to all of you who check us out every week, whether you're watching or listening. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks so much to everybody and have a great day. This is Shawn Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. Be sure to follow or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And for more leadership tips, pick up your copy of Rapid Fire Leadership by going to rapidfireleadership.com, where you can also download free resources to help you in your leadership role. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.